right? So someone's expenses that's doing a podcast might be $3,000. If I can do $3,000, I'm good. $3,000 a month, I'm straight. Okay, cool. So let's reverse engineer how many people you need in your paid podcast community who actually want to be there. It's not like you're offering something that they don't want. They all want access.
Welcome to another episode of Coffees.
Hey, listen, man, I'm appreciative to be here, Joseph. Thanks so much. Yeah, we're going to be talking about turning podcasts to cash 100%.
Let's go.
Let's get it.
So I'm going to jump right into it. So what's the turning point that made you realize you wanted to build a platform to actually help entrepreneurs really monetize the podcast ecosystem?
I mean, that's a good question. There's probably two turning points. The first one, I was here. I was in real estate. I was coming back from showing a property, and I was showing a property in Coachella. And on the way back, I'm like, yo, this is 12 hours of my life in this car. This don't make sense. I'm never doing this again. And I literally stopped doing real estate. I had my license for 8 years, holding it in California and then also holding it in Massachusetts where I'm from. And I just had an epiphany. I'm like, what I'm doing right now, the time that I'm losing for being in this car is not worth this commission. So I immediately just stopped doing real estate and I went into personal development. You know, I was always reading and doing YouTube, but I'm like, there's some information gap that I don't know. There's something that I need to find and figure out. And I was already podcasting on the side, but I was just doing that to build relationships. So I invested into a mindset program. It was called Wake Up Wealthy. That kind of helped change the way I was thinking. And then the first program that I actually bought was from Nehemiah Davis, and that introduced me into digital products.
Nice. Have you met Nehemiah before?
Yeah. I just seen him about 2 weeks ago at Podcast Summit.
Good guy.
Yeah. So that was number one. And then the second thing was I realized that I need to get more exposure. So I started getting on more podcasts for myself. Then I had another epiphany. This was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago during holiday season. I was like, well, if I need to get more exposure, I know business owners need more exposure. So I just put out an offer. 8 business owners took it immediately. I was like, oh yeah, I think I'm onto something.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So did you put out that offer on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok?
I put the offer out on Instagram, but then I also had previous relationships, so I was just texting. I think I put it out. I don't know what the ratio was from social media, people that grabbed it, or from text messages, but I just put it out between text and Instagram, and I remember 8 people grabbing it within 48 hours. Yeah.
Let's go.
And it was an 8K offer at the time, so that's like $64,000. I was like, yeah, we doing something. It made sense.
What was it offer?
Yeah. The offer was basically helping entrepreneurs like yourself get exposure, right? Because they all got products, they all got services. They want to let people know who they are, what they do, how they help people. So they need to get in front of people. So that's what the offer was. I was helping them get on 12 podcasts at the time, and it was a 8K offer.
Nice. And what's your price point now to get on 12 podcasts?
It's a little bit more now. Now we do, if they do a package, the package is basically like an exposure package. So you're going to get on a bunch of, like, I would say, it would either be a combination of earned media or smaller shows. That goes for about $25,000 for 20 shows. And then if they want us to work with them exclusively, consistently over time, then we'll do like the retainer offer. Retainer somewhere between like $4,000 and $5,000 a month for us to just do the services. And if they want to do a lot of activity in a day, we'll do like a VIP day. We'll bring a shooter, ground support, take them all around, record the whole day, record each and every individual podcast, give them all their data. So now they have all this content that they can deploy immediately, right? But the thing that I'm really, really excited about is 2 things specifically when we're talking about guesting. Number one is 3 months ago, and this was an idea that I got 10 years ago, but I wasn't the person to actually facilitate the idea, but I had the idea. So now what we do is we do the live podcast. So what the live podcast does is it puts 100 plus people in a room, right? We put the entrepreneur on a stage. We do a live podcast in front of the audience, and then the audience can interact and ask questions during the podcast. At the end, they got a full opportunity to do a live Q&A, and then we transition and we give that entrepreneur 20-25 minutes to do a live presentation, and they can pitch their offer. So we've been doing that for the past 3 months. We do it between New York and Miami, and we've had over average now about 120 people. Miami's already sold out. We're about to do that on the 30th of August. We have over 250 RSVPs, and it's amazing. We got 3 guests. So what this does is it solves 2 problems. So if you're coming on my podcast and you're an entrepreneur or business owner, right? you're gonna have two problems. This is across the board. Number one, the podcast isn't gonna drop the same day. So now we got a time issue. It's either gonna take a week or maybe a month or even longer, depending on that podcaster's schedule. How much has that podcast recorded? So I'm gonna fall somewhere within that calendar. So I gotta wait now. That's a problem for me, right?
Yeah.
Second thing is, what if they don't make it to the end of where my call to action is? On average on YouTube, because that's what people are going to for podcasts now, people only get into about 12 or 15 minutes of a long form piece of content.
Yep.
So your call to action might be all the way at the end. They're not even going to make it to the end. And what if you don't have commercial inserts? What if you don't give nothing away for free in the beginning? They're never going to make it to your call to action. That's a problem. So now you're relying on the vertical content, right? Which does hit. We're talking
So how
about
do you solve for that problem?
the live podcast. Okay. We guarantee that we got people that are going to leave their house, fly, drive, bike, Uber, scooter into the room, and they're going to watch 99% of what you got going on, and then you can literally interact with them and then pitch your products or services in that room to solve whatever problem they have.
So what's a live podcast? Because that must be a very expensive, costly endeavor for you to bring those people into that room.
To host or produce it, you mean?
To market 100 people, live audience to get into the room?
Now we talking about leveraging, which is what Podcast Cash is all about. We talking about leveraging the podcast as a tool. So one of the things we do for this particular strategy is we run ads. So let's say you're coming on, or someone else is coming on. Let's say they're in real estate investing, or they might be in mortgage lending, right? Whatever they're in, we're gonna run ads right around that radius of that particular city to people that are interested in that subject matter. So now they're coming in for you to learn from you, to learn about that subject matter. So now they're inquisitive, right? So it's not just random, like, hey, come to the show. These are people that we are running ads directly to, plus the group that we developed, the email list that we developed, the email list that we developed, the Telegram group that we developed, and the text message community that we developed, and we're sending them right into the room. So they want to learn.
How do you get that the data for Telegram, emails, WhatsApp?
So the emails come from we'll do either sending traffic to our funnel or sending traffic to Eventbrite. So every time someone RSVPs, we're storing and growing that data. Now, once they RSVP, we'll also send them to the private Telegram group, because now we can control the flow of information specifically. And we also bring the guests inside that private Telegram group even before their show, so they can start nurturing that know, like, trust immediately. They can start developing those relationships. And we give them the opportunity to even sell in a Telegram group. So they can start selling, let's say, 2 weeks before the show even starts. We also give them 2 support online webinars that they can use to also, grow, sell, nurture, and build our relationship with the end consumer, and obviously monetize. So that strategy alone, next level. And we've been doing it for like I said, the past 3 months. We had one client make $55,000, another one make 15. We had another client make 30, and then this one, we already know that they're definitely going to be successful because it's a model that we just continue to refine. The other thing that I'm excited about doing is now we're doing exposure tours. So now I can take a business owner and I can take them on a tour, one city a month for, let's say, 12 months. So now we can take that same model, but now we're going to duplicate that model in different cities, right? So it's all about giving them the most value and the most experience as possible, but then connect them directly with the people, so then they can, convert that person or help that person, whatever the case may be. And you got to remember, they're still getting all the content. The podcast is still dropping. They got authoritative content, right? They got edification content, and they're pretty much good. Now, if this individual does not make content, they got no excuse that why they wouldn't have content to drop at least by minimum every single day.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have a ton of short form, hours and hours and hours.
Hours of it. Hours. If you want content from the stage, we got it. You need commercials, we got it. You need ads, we got it. We need content of you with people behind you or in front of you. You got that. And again, it's still a podcast, so it's still gonna drop on all of the channels. So you got that content as well. Wow. I think it's an insane strategy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. What's your package for that?
So the stage tour, that's about $100K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So stage tour about 100K, and they still get a couple of podcasts in that as well. They get a billboard. So there's some other value that they're gonna get inside of that, plus all of the content.
Now, when you launched the PRS podcast, did you have like a monetization plan in action?
Hell
already?
no, bro. Listen, when I started On the Pursuit podcast, it was all about having these conversations. Cause to me, think about this. Let's say you don't know me, right? We're meeting for the first time. If I stop you and like, yo, Joseph, can I get 30 minutes of your time? Like, you might be nice and be like, okay, cool. But generally, you might be busy, you might be on the go, you don't know my intentions. Most likely, you're gonna say no. But if I say, hey, listen, Joseph, I got a podcast, bro. I would love for you to come on, talk about who you are, what you do, how you help people, the current, thing that you're working on, the current campaign that you're on. You're gonna come on every single time. So
Some people will, some people won't.
well, I mean, if they're not coming on, then it's nuanced. It's for some people it's nuanced, right?
Well,
But
big stars,
100%. So let's give it like 95% of the time, the people that you want to come on are going to come on, right? Unless you're shooting for, large people every single time, which again is a different type of model. But now I can have these conversations. So in the very beginning, it was all about relationship capital, right? It was all relationship capital. I knew that if I could sit down with a founder, a CEO, an owner, an engineer, someone that has some substance that has contributed, it would be a benefit to me, and I can create some fire content. And then I could actually sit down with these individuals with intention and learn things that I want to learn. It wasn't until that was 2018. So it wasn't until like 2021 when I was like, I gotta start doing this real estate. When I started to invest in myself, I learned about digital products and services, and then it just hit me. What hit me was most podcasters, they rely on brand deals, sponsors. They think they need a large audience. They want to get paid by Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. That's not how you make money in podcasting. That's why there's a larger percentage of those individuals who are not making money and such a small percentage of people that are making money in media. Because if you ask any random podcaster how you make money, that's what they're going to say. Brand deals, sponsorships, merch. I need money from YouTube, Spotify, Apple. That's what everyone thinks. But that's the long way. If you want to make money now, that's not what we do.
How do you make money now?
So I believe, because I know it to be true, all podcasters need what I like to call the foundational four. The foundational four is going to be your baseline to monetize. We're talking about digital products. We're talking about a paid podcast community. We're talking about leveraging affiliate marketing. And we'll talk about the VIP package. And in fact, to me, the VIP package is probably the fastest way you can monetize because it turns a free guest into a paid guest.
What's a VIP package?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's what they say every single time. So what is a VIP package? A VIP package is where you package up all of the content that you created in real time. You just offer it back to the guest. Why? Because a guest would pay for a photographer their full price with no questions. They're going to pay for a videographer, their full price with no questions. But for some reason, they always want to devalue the podcaster. They want to come on your platform, sell what they got going on, tell their story, dominate the conversation, and then ask for the files at the end. They don't want to pay for the studio time. They don't want to pay for the editing. They don't want to pay for the production. They don't care about your set. I call that theft. That's theft, right? So listen, this is what we're going to do. We offer a VIP package. This is where we're going to give you the raw, give you your edited files, right? Audio and video. We're going to give you 6 to 8 clips. You can shoot a commercial. We'll put it in your episode. If you got a call to action, we might put it on your screen. We might put it at the end. You got an insert. We'll put that in as well. Behind the scenes video, behind the scenes photos. We'll put that in the folder and give it to you, and it's only going to be $500. You do 4 of those. That's $2,000 in a month. And you was going to do that anyway. What are you going to do with the files? Throw them in the folder, throw them on an SSD, do nothing. I'd rather give them to the guest who probably needs them if they're a business owner or entrepreneur who can leverage content is valuable. Generally speaking, they're going to ask for it anyway. So why not just make it easy? And I give them some bonuses. Now, if you really want to go crazy, I have a client right here who saw...
my only concern, if I ever asked a podcast guest to do that, it's like insulting. I got them to do the podcast. Now I'm telling them to pay for it.
No, you're not telling them. You're offering it to them. So what the VIP package is, it's a reverse. So you're not saying, hey, there's a price or fee to come on the pod, right? They're paying for the bonuses. I'll give you an example. If you and I go to the movies, there's different experiences we can have. We can have the regular experience, or you can have the premium experience. The regular experience is maybe I'll go on $5 Tuesdays. I got my ticket. I watch the movie. I'll go home. Maybe I get some popcorn. Maybe I get a soda. The premium experience, I got the seat. I got somebody bringing the food to me. I might have a blanket. It might be reclining. You know what I'm saying? I just get a totally different experience. So that's what the VIP package is. If you create an experience, they'll pay for the experience. So I'll give you an example, right? I came in here. You was like, hey, Brendan, listen, would you like some food? We got some snacks. We got some coffee. We got this. You order me lunch. You know, I met your assistant. I met your producer, your team, sat down. They made me feel good. Came in here, got a little tour of the space, shot some hoops. That's an experience. You could package that up. Now you just got to add a couple of nuances. So I was pulling my phone out because I literally met this gentleman at the podcast summit, and he watched my podcast with Omar El Takori. That's one of my guys, and I was breaking down the VIP package. I met this individual. He told me he rewound that part of the podcast back 4 times and immediately took action, made his own VIP package, and made $10K in 30 days. And I'm like, well, how'd you do it? He was like, bro, I listened to you. I created experience. So what we do is we'll pick them up from the airport. I got black trucks. We'll film as soon as they get off the airport. So now we get in the behind the scenes. You know, we're going to give them the clips to this. We're going to give them all of that stuff. And then, you know, I got a brand, so I throw them a T-shirt, so now they get merch. And they have all this content that they can walk away with, plus, obviously, the podcast is going to drop. And then we're going to take them home or deliver them to their next destination. So he charged, I think, $1,200 for his VIP package. So it's all about bottling up the experience. So that's probably the fastest way that a podcast can make money right now without having a large audience. Right? Because if you have a guest-based show, just offer the guest back the content that you're creating in real time. And it's a numbers game, right? We
have a large audience, and we don't... I mean, for me, that makes sense, just to offset the cost that I have to pay to give them all that stuff.
There you go.
It's not a profit center. It's a break-even center for me.
Yeah.
If I could get it to break even, that'd be great.
100%. So the VIP package can help you expedite that. Now, you have a larger audience. Right, so then one of the strategies.
It's a top 10 podcast.
There you go.
I get 30,000 downloads a month.
So check this out. What do I want if I'm someone who watching the show consistently or listen to the show consistently? What do I want from you? What would I like for the Coffees podcast? I want access. So I'll give you an example. You and I are flying somewhere. Where you want to fly?
I don't know.
Big country.
Country?
Yeah.
My country, Egypt.
Okay. We're going back to, we're going to Egypt. You going back home is my first time, right? We're going to go to Egypt. So there's 2 ways that we can experience that trip. Economy or first class. So economy, when it comes to the podcast, that's basically, I can go on YouTube. I can watch it whenever I want. I can go on Spotify, Apple. I can listen to it whenever I want. It's not special about it. That's just like sitting in the economy seat. You might be in the middle. Babies is crying. Gotta wait to get on the plane. Gotta wait to get off the plane. It's gonna take a little bit for your food to come. It's uncomfortable, but it's the normal, general way that people are gonna fly. Or premium, right? Fly Egypt Premium. What we get 1 seat or 2, reclining, right? Headphones, pillow. They're gonna bring us food. The flight attendants are nice. We might meet the captain. We're gonna get on the plane first and get off the plane first. That's premium. So when it comes to your community, that's where you're going to give them access to maybe it's a quarterly meetup. Maybe they get to ask the guest questions or prep the guest questions right before they come on. Maybe you let them know, hey, listen, this is the lineup of guests that we have over the next, 3 months or the next quarter. So you can prepare for it. Maybe there's a weekly Zoom that I can ask Joe questions every week, right? Maybe you bring the guests on. There's so many different ways that now you could package up value and then offer it to them. Maybe it's $49 a month for me to get access to that Coffees community. Now, if you take your podcast mobile, you can have these in-person meetups. There's people that want access that's going to come. So if you think about your audience, you got a very large audience. I think you're over 1 million on Instagram. I'm not sure what you are on YouTube or the channels.
There's much smaller.
Okay, cool. So
YouTube's
let's say
21,000, TikTok 300,000.
All right. So let's say you got about 100 people that join the community. We're being modest here. You got 100 people join the community. Community's $49 a month. Now that's $5,000 a month. $5,000 a month. Now you got a 5-figure podcast, $60,000. That's what the average U.S. citizen is making working 12 months out the year, close to 2,000 hours a year, and you can do it with a community. So there's already people that want more access, that want more access to coffees, but they can't get more access because currently you're not offering more access. So the paid podcast community and the VIP package are probably the fastest two ways to monetize, whether you have a large audience or a small audience. I like for podcasters to think about what is the biggest cost, because the stats and numbers will show you most podcasters are going to quit, and they're quitting because they can't afford to keep the podcast running, because editing is going to cost, production costs, studio time costs, equipment might cost. Every single time you drop an episode is going to cost somewhere between $200 or $500, or your time if you're doing it yourself, which is way more expensive.
Costs us more than that.
That's what I'm saying. And if you're not generating revenue to offset that, then it's only going to be a matter of time before you're in the podcast graveyard, right? So what are your expenses, right? So someone's expenses that's doing a podcast might be $3,000. If I can do $3,000, I'm good. $3,000 a month, I'm straight. Okay, cool. So let's reverse engineer how many people you need in your paid podcast community who actually want to be there. It's not like you're offering something that they don't want. They all want access. People want more. Anyone can listen and experience the podcast, but what does it mean, like, if they were in a container that you can create the experience for them? They're going to be there. And there's just a number of games at the end of that. Now you generate money every single month. And that's just two things of the foundation before. We didn't even talk about the offers. That's way different. Like, you got those things, now you straight. So what I say is, like, when I introduce the Foundation for a framework, it's about letting you be aware of what's available to you. I think you should have a digital product. I think you should have a profitable podcast community. I think you should have a couple of affiliate marketing partners. And I think you should have a VIP package available to you. Now you have the tools. Now, do you need to use all of the tools? No, but you have them at your disposal. Maybe one podcast is like, you know what? I just want to grow my podcast community. I just want to have affiliate marketing partners. I just want to run these digital products because, you know what? I want to create something one time and get paid forever. But if you use all of them together, then you have all these different tools that you can generate money. Because to me, podcasting is a tool. It's 100% about leverage.
Yeah, and especially if you have a big brand, big audience, big authority.
Then it becomes easier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've just been just continuing to build my personal brand, not really worried about making money because my money making is with my business.
Yeah.
But, it'd be cool to offset it or offer more opportunities for my people to make money.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, one of my favorite strategies is pod closing. So this is where, like, anyone with a podcast, right? Because basically what Podcast to Cash is about is leveraging. It's leveraging the podcast as a tool. So if you're a realtor, if you're in solar, if you're in Medicare, if you're anything that has to do with, like, sales or service, you can create a podcast or add a media department to your business and then leverage the podcast as an acquisition tool, right? It could be a podcast acquisition tool. And now what you're going to do is you're going to have a show that is specifically designed around what you offer. So, for instance, let's say someone's in mortgages and they want to help more people with residential mortgages. So instead of just having any guests on the show, you should target guests that are looking to get a mortgage, right? Target prospects that can sit in this seat and they can tell you why they may want to get a mortgage, what they want to get a mortgage for, their understanding, their experience. And you have a traditional podcast, but you might be asking 3, 4, maybe 5 questions to see if they would qualify to be a potential client. Now, when the podcast is over, you're just going to transition that podcast into potentially an interview. Like, hey, listen, we can help you with that issue that you have. You said, during the podcast, you really want to get a mortgage for your next home or whatever the case may be. You're going to transition that into either a close or a booked appointment. Or maybe it's a referral, depending on, whatever products or service you're offering or the ones you may have available to you. Then it's really just a number games because nobody wants to be on a sales call, but everybody want to be on a podcast. So if you have a podcast that is specifically designed around what you offer, and then you just promote or market to get more of those people interested in that product or service to come on your show, Then you just close them on the podcast.
I mean, I guess for a mortgage, that's kind of like, I don't know if a client would want to talk about their mortgage. Like, what's your goal to buy the house? What are you gonna do?
Now, what you do is you target the guest that is interested. You could do that through a form. You could do that through traditional marketing, social media marketing, right? Hey, if you're looking to get a mortgage in the next 6, 12, and 18 months, I would love for you to come on the show, the mortgage show, or whatever you want to call it. We would love to learn more about your story and what you got going on. Register. Now, back in our form, have your questions, have your fact finding. What are the questions to see that you would ask a client to see if they will qualify traditionally? Ask them that. And the ones that qualify based on their responses, those are the ones that probably a better fit to come on the show that you know is a more warm prospect. Now you just have a regular podcast like we're having one. You just interweave 3 or 4 questions to see if they're a good fit. Guess what happens? Potential client that might sign up now or maybe sign up in the next day or so. The podcast is still going to drop, but now you have a podcast that could edify more clients that can come on the show. So now you're not using the podcast just like a podcast. You created a podcast acquisition system. And that's what Podcast to Cash is about. Helping, 6-figure, 7-figure, and even 8-figure entrepreneurs leverage the podcast as a tool. It's a media business, right? So we don't just want to have a regular podcast. We want to have a podcast that has a purpose. And that podcast with a purpose can help you generate 3 to 5x more revenue if you're leveraging it and using it as a tool.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people lose sight of what is the objective of my podcast.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
Even me, I'm a podcaster. I don't even think about it like that. My intention's off.
100%.
I think my team now is like, oh, this was enlightening. Joe's going to be able to make us more money. I'm like, great. I don't care about my money making strategies. I want my people to make more money.
100%. What you're doing right here is amazing, bro, because so many people are going to be able to benefit from all the episodes and content that you create forever.
Yeah.
Right? So now what's the backside of it? How do we maximize the actual content? So in real estate, let's say you and I have a street, right? We just bought a block. Let's say there's nothing on the block. There's no residential buildings, no commercial buildings, no parking lot, no post office, no restaurant, no coffee shop. We just got land. Can we make any money on that?
No.
Exactly. No. This is what podcasters are doing every single episode. They got no offers, no affiliates, no links in the description, no CTAs, no live reads. So they're creating digital real estate that's going to be up there forever with no way to get a return. It's the exact same thing. So go get some affiliates.
What kind of affiliates?
So I mean, you can go to like ClickBank, you can go to JVZoo, you can go to Amazon, you can go to Impact. These are companies that are basically, they're already giving a service. They're already doing fulfillment. They're already doing delivery. They're already doing customer service. They're even doing the sales. All you're doing is sharing the product on your platform to consumers who already have a problem. That product is going to solve their problem. So there's no selling involved. Every person watching and listening to this podcast has some type of problem. It doesn't mean that the problem's bad. Like, for instance, where are you going to go after at some point today?
Jiu-jitsu.
Okay, cool. How are you going to get there?
My car.
What if you didn't have a car?
Uber.
That's the problem. But Uber is a solution. But what if you was listening to a podcast, you didn't know about Uber, and you was like, wow, there's software that's just going to come pick me up, and I just pay a couple of dollars, put the address in there, and this is going to take me? Boom. I'm going to get an affiliate. It solves your problem. You had to get to jiu-jitsu, right? So we made the money in the middle. We call that the gold in the gaps. So if I had 1 or 2 affiliates on my episode, if I had a digital product, and I had my VIP package in my community, and it was in every single episode, now we have digital real estate on top of the episodes. So now each episode has an opportunity to bring you some type of return. So without offers inside your episodes, you're just putting out content that can never do nothing for you. The content should bring you back something. The content should act like the law of reciprocity. We're putting all this content out, YouTube making money, Rumble making money, right? We ain't making no money. We waiting for the subscribers to go up just so we can qualify for a couple $100. And then what happens when we get it? People are like, yeah, YouTube money. But bro, you need what, 4,000 subscribers? No, 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers minimum just to qualify to get into the partner program. And then once you're in there, you got to at
You're
least
making peanuts.
you got to at least break the $100 threshold for them to give you the $100. So if you to make $100 on YouTube, you got to at least get $101 for them to release the $100. And that's what people think that's where the money's at, but it's not. The money is in, like I said, the goals and the gaps, and making sure you have a foundation for or understanding the offers. People want brand deals. You know you can go, oh yeah, we was talking about the coffee, right? So there's a strategy I like to call like the local brand deal. So what town do you live in?
Newport Beach.
All right, you live in Newport Beach. Are there certain businesses that you patronize, like you go to consistently?
Oh yeah.
Right? And they know who you are.
Yeah.
They happy to see you. They know you by first name. They might know your family. You might know their family. You've been investing in them and patronizing them for years, right? What's one of the businesses?
King Coffee.
All right, boom. King Coffee. Who's the owner?
Martin Dietrich, but he's a pretty big deal.
Okay, so you know the owner, right? So you can literally go to the owner or the manager, whoever you got the best relationship with, and say, hey, listen, I don't know if you guys knew, but I got a podcast called Coffees. And we talk to business owners and entrepreneurs every single episode. And these entrepreneurs are 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure entrepreneurs. Oh, by the way, we do got a pretty good following, but that's not even a big deal. We want to work with businesses like yourself and feature you on our episodes. And matter of fact, you know what we'll do is we'll do like $1,000 sponsorship for 4 episodes. Imagine if somebody went and got 5 of those with businesses that they already been spending money with for years. There's your 5K sponsorship. And those businesses are more likely to work with you because you already have the relationship. You don't have to go get the Sony head of marketing, send him hella emails, and hopefully they'll get back to you and ask you for a proposal, but ask you for your stats and see if your stats qualify for them to give you a $5,000 or $10,000, brand deal or sponsor. So if you go to local brand deal strategy, it's more relationship based. You can go to, let's say Navy Federal's out here. Let's say Navy Federal, Chase, Bank of America, all these banks, they got marketing budgets. They want to be in the community. They need business accounts. They need personal banking accounts. They want to open up credit cards. They want to open up lines of credit, right? What about, who's the top realtor in the space? Where were you at?
I don't even know. Casey Lesher or something.
Okay, boom. Casey. What he want? To get in front of more people? Okay, Casey, how about this? I know your average deal is probably about, let's say 30, 50,000 on a home or whatever the case may be. Okay, cool. Why don't you sponsor the whole season of the podcast for 15,000? We're going to give you 2 episodes that we're going to interview you on, right? But we'll put a watermark for your call to action on the screen in the lower thirds. That'll be on every single episode. So now people can watch you when it says, hey, I want to buy a home. Text this number. Now you just made a $15,000 sponsorship. And you still got all the digital real estate that you can go get some more sponsors for. You can have Coffees and Casey. You know what I'm saying? So what podcasters need to understand is you guys have all this digital real estate, right? And like Joe said, if you have actual real estate, you don't put nothing on it, you can't monetize. Matter of fact, the city's going to tax you because you got to pay that excise tax. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay that real estate tax.
This is a lot of information.
You got to develop on the land.
How do people go and learn about this?
Man, well, I do 2 free classes every single week. They can go to podcastercastmasterclass.com. And then every other month, I do like a 5-day, let's say virtual class where they can tap in for 5 days. We go a little bit deeper. The main thing outside of monetization is that most podcasters, they're going to operate their podcast as a hustle, as a side business or something that they do sometimes. This is why they all quit. They need to turn their podcast into a media business, right? Because that's what it is media, right? So you got to go actually get your LLC, get your EIN, your business address, business phone number, get your domain, get all of that stuff. So it looks like you actually have a business, and then you want to make sure that your credit's good, right? Have a good credit profile and a good business structure. And you want to go to your credit partners, your financiers, your Chases, your Bank of America, your Navy Federals, your PNCs, your Truists, or whatever region you're in, and then go get your podcast, your media business funded. Now you can leverage that capital to invest in your show, or go buy some cash flow, Or maybe you want to, you need equipment for your studio build out. You can leverage their money and the information I just gave you guys, and you can make the money back through your offers. Now your studio is completely free. And you have the capital that you can use to continue to invest in your show and invest in your production. I'm just trying to help somebody, Joe. That's all.
Hey, God bless. That's what it's about. We're coming up, pretty close to time. I want to ask you a couple last questions.
Yeah.
What's your personal goal? What's a family goal? What's a business goal?
Yeah,
you
my
got?
family goal is to get married and have some kids, bro. I need to get married. I was seeing a young lady the end of last year. It ain't work out, so I'm a free agent. You know what I'm saying? So just really have a family. So that would be the personal goal on the family side. As far as business, I'm doing a tour, right? So I want to continue to give this information in different cities and actually touch the people, right? And then my downtime, I'm learning mergers and acquisitions. So I want to bring that information and also touch the people with that information as well. Because I think if people understand how they can buy a business easier than start a business, then that can actually, get to building wealth a little bit faster. So that's personal goals.
I love that. Last question. When you're in front of the pearly gates, what do you think God's going to tell you?
When I'm in front of the pearly gates, man, my desire is for God to say that I was faithful, and then I served all my days, and that I realized through my self-awareness that I had a lot of gratitude, and I basically lived out His mission for me, and I maxed out my body, maxed out my mind, maxed out my spirit, and I was always looking to help as many people as possible. And then have them open it and let me in.
Let's go. God bless you, man. I hope you hit all your goals.
Oh yeah, we're gonna hit that.
I hope
We're
God
partners just like
blesses.
yourself.
Let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go. Just here to do God's work.
100%, 100%.
Here to do God's work.
I was recently baptized.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
in
a
May.
big cross on you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when self-awareness hits you, you can't unsee, you can't unhear, and it just changes your life forever.
Amen. If people want to connect with you, how do they find you?
Listen, man, if you guys want to connect with me right here, if you're looking to connect, a couple different ways. You can head over to podcast to cash masterclass.com. Register for the free class every single week. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, just go to It's Brendan Boyd, but that's across all platforms. It's Brendan Boyd, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, across everything.
Let's go. Thank you so much for being on the show, bro.
Man, appreciate you.
It's been a blessing.
Yes, sir.